If Pakistan seeks to achieve regional stability with a compromise on Kashmir, India's ambitions are of a more global nature. India seeks to establish itself as a global powerhouse in the evolving dynamics of international politics. It would be prudent on their part to cement a well-crafted solution to Kashmir.
In dealing with the challenges of energy security, challenges of terror.
I think it's for India to really evaluate the costs of its occupation of Kashmir and how that is a hurdle in the way of India achieving its larger strategic objectives. India wants a seat on the big table. If India wants a seat on the big table, then it has to extricate itself from the disputes in the region. If you follow that logic actually urges India to be flexible. India's image continues to be tarnished by its actions in Kashmir. India's human rights record is still held up by all international organizations as far from being a shining one. These are all issues that show that there are high costs for the Indian government. And I think that's why the Indian government in recent years was trying with Pakistan to see whether they could find a way at least to arrive at an interim solution of Kashmir pending a final settlement. And I think we need to return to that.
Musharraf's 4 points on Kashmir, joint control mechanism and other proposals have been tabled, such as the ambiguous Swiss model. But while the need for a resolution is imperative, is an acceptable proposal an inevitable reality? Could any delays in establishing an accord be costly in the high-stake games of a nuclearized South Asia?
You can certainly borrow ideas and principles. But you cannot emulate models because those models existed in very different political and strategic circumstances. In this particular case, I think, yes, there's a great case to be made to borrow principles and ideas, but you can't really model it on an example that is so vastly different and exists in a completely different context.
I think India has a very obdurate and a rigid position on that, but they would be willing and amenable to some sort of a settlement which alters the status quo in a manner that Indian overall control remains, but there is, shall we say, some change at the level of the line of control, that free movement of people, soft borders, more trade among the Kashmiris, that sort of thing. So that would also alleviate a lot of their problems, because let's treat Kashmir as a human problem first. But the Indian establishment has had a very rigid position, a position which was first expounded by a senior policymaker when I met him in 1989 in Delhi. And I said, look here, you've lost the Kashmiris. He said, you know, in a very ironical manner, he said, yes, we have one Kashmiri Muslim who's with us. His name is Farooq Abdullah, but still we'll control Kashmir. And even later on, even Farooq Abdullah changed, as you know.
It's not a territorial issue. It is basically an issue of something that the world upholds, of self-determination. It's a legal issue. And it is an issue which could be resolved through give and take. I mean, don't forget that the third person who was appointed by the United Nations as a mediator, Judge Owen Dixon, actually proposed that the Kashmir plebiscite should be held regionally. So the Ladakhis, the Buddhists of Ladakh could vote for India, and the Hindus of Jammu could vote for India, whereas the people of Azad Kashmir and what is today the northern areas would almost certainly vote for Pakistan. And in this way, you would achieve a kind of division based on the will of the people established regionally. Now, that proposal, along with others, was never accepted. It's a shame. But it's not a territorial dispute for Pakistan. It is our feeling that the people of Kashmir should be allowed to decide their future.
The people of Jammu and Kashmir, sir, are part of people of Pakistan. In blood, in flesh, in life, kith and kin of ours.